burn. So how many candlesticks?
5.
Come on, guys. Three on each side, and one in the center. 7. 6 is the number of man because man was created on the 6th day. The 7th day belongs to God because God rested. The whole candlestick is standing on this one. It's standing on God. So this candlestick right here is represented Jesus. And then these 3 is what? That's the man. When God created man in the image of the candlestick. So what is our 7 gates? What is our 7 gates? So what is the outermost? 2 ears. So that's the ear. So 2 ears, right?
Eyes.
And that's the outermost things that's the outermost part of our body that things can come inside our body and change us. Because we listen when we hear. Yes? That's why faith comes from?
Eyes.
From hearing. From hearing. Okay? What's the next 2?
Eyes. And the mouth.
Nose.
Ooh, and the mouth.
That's the breath. And then the mouth.
Yeah.
See? So faith comes from hearing. Faith comes from hearing, and this is the most important one. And speaking out loud.
What about the hair?
The hair doesn't let anything in. I mean, yeah, it can become wet, but it doesn't let anything into our brain. These are the gates. They are called gates because things can come in from here. They can come in from here, from our mouth because we eat, but also we can speak out and from our eyes because what we look and we learn. Okay? You understand? Okay. So Moses went up the mountain and God gave him the 10 commandments. Right? How many times did God give him the 10 commandments? How many times? Moses went up the mountain, okay? And he was there for 40 days and 40 nights. While he was there, God gave him the 10 commandments. And while God was talking to him and Moses was up there for 40 days, the Israelites were down here, down on the bottom of the mountain, and they started doing bad things. And God said, go down, Moses, quick, before I destroy all of them. So Moses came running down the mountain with the 10 commandments in his hand. He was supposed to give the law to the Jews, right? When he comes down the mountain, he's almost at the foot of the mountain and he can see them doing all kinds of bad stuff. So he takes the 2 tablets of stone and he smashes it on the rock and he breaks it. He breaks it into pieces, right? So after they killed 3,000 of the Jews for doing the wrong thing, Moses went back up the mountain a second time. And the second time God gave him another set of 10 commandments, right? The first set of 10 commandments was justice. The second time God sent the 10 commandments to Moses, there was grace with it. Okay, if not, all of them would have been wiped out. So when you look at us, we are also built 2 times. Look, that's the first 10 commandments that God destroyed. How many toes do we have? 10. And this is the second time.
Some water in here, okay?
Is he okay?
Water. Yeah. This ice is so red.
So you see, the whole body that we have is also built on the principles of God. We have 2 times 10. Okay?
20.
And we don't usually help people with our feet, right? Like we want to give somebody a burger, we don't want to say, here, take, eat. Now, how do we come? The second time, see? And remember when you look in the book of Daniel, and you see that there was a big statue that was built, and when they smashed the foot, the whole statue fell. So the first time the law was broken, the whole statue falls. But we come with good, we always come with our hands. Alright? It's making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so any questions? So we talked about the right for life, the right to care for our bodies. So we talked about food being bad for us. It could also be stuff like chocolates
I love chocolate.
or any food that's not good for us that we keep overeating. So overeating is also a sin, right? It could be by putting vinyl alcohol into our bodies. It could be by smoking tobacco. We are putting bad stuff into our bodies. What is other stuff that can enter our bodies through our ears that is bad for us? Words, being in bad company, let's keep listening to bad stuff. That's bad for us. Listening to songs that have bad lyrics.
Like Drake.
Explicit lyrics, bad lyrics, you keep listening to it because faith comes from what? Hearing, right? And if you keep hearing bad stuff, you're going to start doing bad stuff.
Yes.
Okay, because that's the way we are programmed. All right. What is the way we can let bad stuff in through our eyes?
Ooh, see, when you see stuff as bad.
Like what?
TV.
Go ahead. Like watching bad stuff on TV. That's bad for us. We let bad stuff into our eyes. That's why they are called gates. Okay, because the gate lets things in. You understand? Gates let things in. So we have to protect our gates. We have to keep the gate of the city safe. So we put a guard on the gate. The rest of the body stays safe. Alright? Essential needs, we are talking about food, clothing. That really right now we don't have much of a control over that. This we leave it to our home. Who do we leave this one to for right now until we become older? We leave it to our parents or the people that are the adults in our life to take care of it for us, to provide us with shelter, food and clothing.
Yeah.
Do we have a right to speak for ourselves? Yes or no?
Yeah, you can stand up.
You can stand up. You can stand up for yourselves. Do we stand up for others too when we see something going on wrong? So this should not only be speaking for ourselves, but we should also be able to speak for others. Right? Do we have a right to be loved?
Yes.
Yes, everybody has a right to be loved. But you remember one thing. If you ever get to that point in your life where you think that nobody loves me, nobody cares for me, there's always one who is closer to you than a brother. Who is that person who will never leave you or forsake you? God. So never forget that. You are always loved. It doesn't matter if there's nobody on earth that loves you, but there is somebody in heaven that cares for you. Okay? God cares for you so much that even your mom and dad don't know how many hairs you have on your head. But Jesus said that God knows even how many single pieces of hair you have. He knows the exact count. Right? Nobody could care for you that much to sit and count all the hair on your head. Even your mom and dad wouldn't do that, but that's how much Jesus loves you. Who loves you more than anybody else on this earth? No, on this earth. I'm talking about among people. Your mom, right?
Yeah.
Probably more than your dad. That's why most of us feel that your mom loves you more than anybody else. But Jesus says that even if a mother forget about her child, her nursing child, but God will never forget about you. Alright? Never, ever, ever. Okay, so we all love. Do we have the right to develop our talents?
Yes.
Yes. So if you're good on the guitar or on the drums,
Yeah.
or if you're good in something like playing basketball or something,
Yeah.
nobody has the right to take that away from you. You have the right to develop your talent. Okay? Do we have the right to worship God?
Yes.
And this one should come first. Who's good in math over here?
Me.
Remember we talked about this once before, but I'm going to repeat it just so you don't forget.
I'm really horrible at math.
When we talk about God, what number do we use?
3.
What else? How many gods are there?
3. 1, 2.
There's only one God.
Yeah, there's only 1.
3 in 1. It's 3 persons. It's 3 persons, but one God. Do you get it? So when we talk about God, what number do we use? 1. When we talk about ourselves, because we are nothing, right? Nothing. So what number do we use for ourselves?
0.
0. What number do we use for anything that's material on earth? Because Jesus says everything that's material that you can see, you can touch, you can taste, you can feel, everything will pass away. So what number would we use for that? 0. So let's suppose we have a 1 million zeros of things, right? So this would represent the car, this would represent my house, this would represent all my Michael Jordan shoes, this would represent all the Gucci handbags that you'll have. You just keep putting zeros, right? So when people are on earth, and they see how many zeros you have, and they go, wow, that person is so rich. But you know how God sees us as nothing. Now, if we take God and we put God last in our lives, right? Suppose we put God last in our lives, behind everything else, and we make everything else important, like watching TV, movies, music, new clothes, new books, new shoes, and we put God last in our lives. Does the value of God change?
Yeah.
Does the value of God change? God is 1 and He will always remain 1. God doesn't need any of us, but we need God, right? Supposing we put God, so if we put God last in our lives, what is our value? What is our value? 1. Because we put God last in our lives. So what is our value? 1. Because we have the breath of God, so the breath will always stay 1. Supposing we put God first in our lives. Now what does our value change to?
A billion.
So you see why it's important to put God first. Is it making sense mathematically to you now? How much time do we have?
2 more minutes.
You want to give them the... Okay, let's say the prayer and then you can...
Okay, class, let's stand up for our concluding prayers. Hail Mary, of the Heavenly Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Don't sit down first. Let's